Dry series, a new federal plan is sounding a lot of alarms. So after decades of drought, I'm sure you're all aware, the Colorado River system is overtaxed. Our reservoirs are very low. So a federal plan to conserve water reportedly hits the so-called lower basin states now of California, Nevada, and Arizona very hard. And we here in Arizona get between 30 and 40% of our water from the Colorado River. So the cuts will likely have a very big impact here. So we thought we'd talk to somebody who's been watching these prices, this process very, very closely. Joining us now is President and CEO of the Arizona Chamber of Commerce, Danny Seiden. Danny, great to talk to you.
Thanks for having me on, Troy.
All right, so here we go. We've been waiting for this plan now, really for years.
Yeah.
And I know it's not official yet, but your first thoughts on what we're hearing.
So you're right. It just should be explained. This is a proposal, that what we're waiting on is the record of decision. It's expected within 30 days. So we'll probably see it very soon. And what this does is give you a 10-year framework of what I would argue is bad to unlivable, cuts for the lower basin states. It's a shame. It looks like it's going to be described as a bureaucratic bailout for upper basin states that failed to manage and conserve water over the past 40 years, whereas Arizona's done everything right. These guys have done everything wrong. Federal government in this one bureaucracy, in the Bureau of Reclamation right now, seems to be bailing them out.
Yes, so the four upper basin states, no cuts at all, basically,
yeah.
and the three lower
mandatory
ones,
cuts.
No mandatory cuts.
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody's sitting at home right now saying, wait a second, does this mean I have no drinking water? So explain that. What do the cuts mean?
Great question. Your water is not going to run out. Your taps won't turn off. What it means is, and we've talked about this before, it's not a scarcity of water. It's a scarcity of cheap water. So everything's going to get more expensive. If you're living in Gilbert right now, your water rates are going up because municipalities, which is about 22% of our state's water users, are going to start to rebuild their water infrastructure for treatment, for shocking, for recharging. That's all going to start to happen, and we're going to be the ones paying for it at a time when affordability is at the forefront of everyone's mind.
So what would you think? A water bill up 10%?
It really depends city by city. People are going to see some doubling of their water rates right now. So things are going to get a lot more expensive. And again, people who are going to say, well, we've grown too much. That's wrong. Growth is the answer here. Our big companies like Intel, like TSMC, they're paying for treatment facilities. They're paying to recharge that water. They are a benefit to our state and to our growth. And we're going to fight this. I need to say this, this is not a failure in Arizona leadership. Arizona leadership has done a very good job from prior governors all the way through Governor Hobbs, our current Republican legislature with Senator Ward Peterson, Speaker Montenegro. They have budgeted for the litigation that's coming, and they've been speaking with one voice about what Arizona's done with water, using less water now than we did in the 50s, as opposed to Colorado, who uses more and has had a shrinkage in their economy.
Right, and a lot of people will point to these data centers and, look at the semiconductor industry. How much do they use, and is that an issue here?
First of all, data centers, again, big misconception. They're almost all closed loop system, meaning they use less water than a household because they don't have to continue to be replenished. But more importantly, the total industrial use for Arizona of our water is 6%. 6% total industrial use. Agriculture is 72%. Agriculture and efficiencies around agriculture is where we'll continue to get better. Drip irrigation, better fertilizer management, leveling out of grounds. There's a lot of things that our farmers are doing to make things better. And we're looking at lower water crops. There's a lot of high water crops Arizona's moved away from, things like alfalfa and cotton. We're going into more like hops, barley, different things where you can save water.
Maybe a drip system or something like that. Danny Seiden, thanks you so much. You're always a great reference for us.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
All right.